Hey, so the other day we spoke about how I believe God's desire is really to talk to us without using any um, intermediaries, if I can call it that, right? And that personally, when He does speak to me using an intermediary, I always kind of want to go back and hear, okay, Lord, what was going on here? So that I didn't hear you, or, why didn't I listen? So I want to kind of give the flip side of that, right? Or not the flip side of that, but what happens after that. So because there's two translations that I want to read, and the first one is there's many passages, but I'm going to just read three from the book of Proverbs. Okay, the first one is Proverbs 11:14. Okay, I'm going to read it in the New King James and then in the ESV. So New King James says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in a multitude of counselors, there is safety." Okay. Then the next one is Proverbs 15:22. And that says, "Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established." Okay. And the last one is Proverbs 24 verse 6. Okay. Which says, "For by wise counsel you will wage on your own war, and in a multitude of counselors there is safety." Okay, and this is really where I think community and church kind of comes in, right? And people around you, where that part of the journey, if I can say, comes in. So, once you've heard from God what He's saying to you, once you've engaged it and you've spoken through some of the things, and asked questions and all that stuff. Part of what I do, and I really encourage you to do so also, right, is to submit what God is saying to you to the people that you trust in your life. Because the truth is, there is wisdom, or there's safety in a multitude of counselors, right? That's people that are around us. We're not just brought together as a fellowship of believers so that when the enemy comes, we're stronger together than we are by ourselves. Yes, a lion or whatever will look for the zebra or the sheep or the whatever that's on its own, because it is more vulnerable. But I think this side of it is also such a strong, fence, if I could say, So you take what you believe God is saying to you and you submit it to those that you trust in your life. You submit it to the people that God has given you, and you say, "Hey guys, this is what God is talking to me about," and allow them to interrogate you, allow them to ask you about it, allow them to flesh that out with you, right? And a lot of times why we don't want to do that, it's not always a nice exercise, right? Sometimes exactly what it is God is saying, but you don't want to be held accountable to it. And in engaging with people, what happens is suddenly you're held accountable to what God is actually saying. So, for instance, I walked a journey once with somebody. They started dating somebody, and they didn't tell me about it. Holy Spirit told me about it, and I was like, "Okay, cool. What do I do here?" And He was like, "No, just wait until they come and tell you." So I waited, and about 2-3 months in, they came and they were like, "Hey, Katie, just letting you know, we started dating." And I said, "Okay, what's happening here?" And they said, "No, we're really just submitting the relationship to you. We trust you. Share with us if you feel like it." And I was like, "Holy Spirit, can I share?" And He was like, "Yeah, go for it." And I did. And I said, "Guys, I don't doubt that there is relationship here, but I think that the timing is wrong. I don't think your timing is now. I think there's still some growing that each of you need to do." And and I shared it with them. And immediately, like, you could see, the girl, she was just heartbroken. She was just like, "I've been waiting for so long. I'm getting so old. I just want to be with somebody already." And the guy was just like, "Why do you think you can say that?" And no, we hear from God ourselves as well. And I was just like, okay. And, and it ended up being, unfortunately, they ended up hurting each other, and, it didn't end well. And it made me sad. But even in sharing that with them, I was sharing and saying, look, this is what I believe God is saying to me, about what it is you're saying. I don't know if I spoke to other people. I don't know, but there's such a, I mean, even now, right? Literally like tomorrow, the 27th of July, 2021, there's a really big change that's happening in my life. Like my personal life is a really big, like it's a really big day. Tomorrow's a really big day for me, right? And even that, like to get to the point where I am today, there were so many people, not so many, but there were people that I knew that I had to engage in discussion with. Some people I wanted to, and we just didn't get around to it. But I had to just engage in discussion, and each of them provided a different perspective, and we just interrogated, okay, what's going on here, and how is it, okay, cool. If this is what you believe God is saying, then, do you believe that He's saying that this is for now? Is it for later? All these things. So a lot of times we just do things based on what we believe God is saying to us, because I actually heard it on, how did he say it? He's saying, it's especially in our Christian walk, sometimes we go into conversations wanting to engage with people because actually what we want from them is permission. If they come and they try and hold us accountable to what God is really saying, then we don't, so we'd rather say, okay, well, no, I know that person's not going to give me permission, so let me rather not submit it to them, and be open to that conversation. So rather be in a place in where, again, you're asking for forgiveness rather than permission, right? But the thing is, we want to be found in the counsel of that is safe for us. We want to be found exercising wisdom, right? So it doesn't help that we know all these things, but then anyway our plans go awry because we are so set that we will not have counsel, or we will limit our counsel to those who share the exact same opinions and the exact same perspective as us, right? So I think it's really important, like, not just to take it then and say, because I've had some conversations since then, right? Not to then just take it and say, okay, well, Katie, then what's the point if God's just going to talk to you and leave it at that? I'm like, yes, but there is more to that. And this is really the more for me, where I've so appreciated. And sometimes I found myself really believing that God was saying something to me. And when I submitted and talked to people about it, then it's just like, maybe go listen again, only come to find that really what I was conveying was what my heart was saying around what he was saying, and not actually what God was saying, and again, there I'm found in a place of safety then, because of the people that I had around me, because of the counsel that I had around me. And really, I mean, don't get it twisted, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy to have that conversation and really allow yourself to, onions have layers. To kind of peel yourself open and say, okay, well, this is me in the raw, and this is what I believe, and let's have that conversation, and let's interrogate and poke and prod and do everything that you feel like needs to be done until we're saying, okay, well, we're all at peace with it, right? I mean, the people that have veto in my life, sometimes I'm so scared to share things with them because I'm like, oh, what if they don't share the same opinion as me? Then I'm going to have to dig and dig and dig and dig. But we want to do that. We want to get to that place so that eventually what we're doing is we're sharing, or we're walking in the plans that come with safety. We're walking in plans that have wisdom and have boundaries, and not just go awry, or not waging war against ourselves, right? That Proverbs 24:6. In the ESV, it says, for by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there's victory, So it's not just that we're walking saying, okay, well, because God is a God of relationship, He will talk to me directly and nobody will ever get involved. But there's actually an action for us to say, yes, here it is, guys. And engage those people. And I think that's why even in the church structure, you have elders, or you have a board that senior pastors submit to. So Yeah. Oh, yes, that's what I wanted to say. If you don't have people like that, then my prayer for you tonight is really that God would show you who those people are in your life. And if you do have those people, then my challenge to you tonight is that really you will find the courage and the boldness to go and actually submit such conversations, and have those conversations with those people around you. And may it bring you victory. Okay, have a good one. Bye.